Topping today's news, former Cabinet Minister Obi Wilscombe lay in state today ahead of his funeral Thursday. A number of Bahamians still in Israel as war rages with Hamas. A 6-year-old boy shot while playing with a gun at home. And residents weigh in on whether former Cabinet Minister Shane Gibson should get the nomination for West Grand Bahama and the Bimini by-election. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jarino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News, and it is a pleasure to have you join us. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell confirming that there are still 2 Bahamians in Israel caught up in the volatile Israeli-Palestinian war. The minister noting that those Bahamians are attempting to leave that country. Minister Mitchell told reporters this morning that his ministry is in contact with at least 3 Bahamians that are in Israel, one of whom was able to successfully leave and is believed to be in Morocco.
There's also a professional basketball player who's having some difficulties trying to get out. We do not have a diplomatic presence in Israel, but the state of Israel has a responsibility to protect non-citizens, and I'm sure they'll follow the international rules on that. I think he's trying to make arrangements to go. We're in touch with his family, and we've said to them that if there's any consular assistance he needs, we will do our best through our allies to try and deal with that matter.
The Israel-Hamas war is into its 5th day, and thousands have died in Israel and Gaza, with the war expected to escalate. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has issued a travel advisory to all Bahamians in Israel and those who may have had plans to travel to Israel, which is now in a state of emergency. As for the Bahamas' position on the Israeli-Hamas war that is entering its 100th year, Minister Mitchell made the following comments.
The complexities of the hostilities in that part of the world are not something that we enter upon. We've called for the cessation of hostilities as soon as possible. We've also called within the context of the CARICOM statement. There's a statement issued by CARICOM. You can go and see that. We support that statement. And the statement essentially is saying that this is a complex matter. We want cessation of the hostilities. There's a 2-state solution which was drawn up in 1967, and that remains the position.
As Israel's government has declared a state of emergency, all international borders in Israel could be closed in short notice. Foreign Affairs officials advise against all travel to Israel, Palestine, and advises against all but essential travel to other parts of the Middle East region. The body of the late Obadiah Hercules Wilscombe lay in state in the foyer of the House of Assembly today. There to pay their respects and sign the book of condolences this morning were Governor General Cynthia Mother Pratt, Prime Minister Philip Davis, along with other cabinet ministers. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation Chester Cooper pays homage to his fallen colleague and the work he did when he was in the Ministry of Tourism.
It's a sad day for the country, for the people of West Grand Bahama and Bimini, and for the Ministry of Tourism. And of course, the Ministry of Social Services. As a Ministry of Tourism staff, joined by Ministry of Social Services, he has impacted the lives of many individuals through his leadership and his mentorship. He loved the Ministry of Tourism. He served as minister for 10 years, and he was instrumental in leading some important initiatives, including in the area of sports tourism and in film tourism. And these are areas that we are going to continue to work and build on.
Progressive Liberal Party Chairman and Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell says it is his desire to see a permanent fixture named in Minister Wilscombe's honor.
Well, as I said to his family, it's a shock on the system because he's been around for so long, and of course his career is in part my responsibility, his having moved to Nassau as a result of my work as a Director of News and Public Affairs Broadcasting Corporation. So we've been along a pathway for quite some time, and so there's a hole in our life as a result of his passing. I said to the family, my own view is that we have to memorialize him in some way, some permanent way. I think one of those buildings in Grand Bahama should be named after him. I hope that's done and adopted shortly by the government so that his name is properly memorialized. And we will speak to his life more fully when the House resumes in a couple of weeks' time. But until then, we want to make sure that he's properly sent to his rest. The state has paid proper tribute to him, and I think we're doing all that we can to pull out all the stops to ensure that that's properly done.
What are your views on Jcn Gibson?
Also there to pay respects were former Prime Minister Perry Christie and opposition leader Michael Pintard.
I told his family that because I was significantly older, some 15 years, that Obi and I always had a private, shared view that he would speak well at my passing. And so I said in a note to him a few moments ago that I never thought the day would come when I would have to reverse the order and to say farewell to him.
I believe that one of his greatest contributions in the political discussion, which could be acrimonious, it could be fierce at times, is Obi did not carry anger very long. In the midst of exchanges, he was vibrant and strong. However, when that discussion was over, he sought to find a way to make peace with members opposite him. And if he carried grudges, he certainly carried those privately. And in this politics, we have to find a way to lower the temperature.
The late Minister Wilscombe's state funeral will be held on Thursday at Christ Church Cathedral. His final resting place will be in his hometown in West Grand Bahama. Following the untimely death of the Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, the late Minister Obi Wilscombe, a by-election for the constituency is imminent and possibly before the end of the month. However, while the leadership of the Progressive Liberal Party wishes to refrain from any discussions regarding the by-election until after Minister Wilscombe's funeral on Thursday, on the ground, things are heating up as residents of the constituency and a number of potential candidates from various parties have seemingly begun to maneuver, seeking support for the nomination for their respective party. One of those individuals is former PLP cabinet minister and Golden Gates Member of Parliament Jcn Gibson, who told the local daily that he would accept the nomination if it is offered. Well, on Tuesday, the subject dominated Love 97's Issues of the Day talk show with host Christian Jones, with some callers expressing their lack of support for Gibson's nomination by the PLP.
The Jcn Gibson era is over. That's a very bold and provocative statement for me to make.
That's a very bold and provocative declaration for you to make.
That's right. Yeah, that era is over, sir. We can put that one to bed. He will not get a nomination.
But why do you say that, Mr. Rowling?
No, he will not get a nomination. His time is over. We had a chance. Yeah, but this time, no, it's bad news.
Why do you say that?
That's the easiest way for the PLP to lose this election and the next January election.
There were also callers that believe Mr. Gibson would make an excellent candidate and they would support his nomination to run for the PLP in West Grand Bahama and Bimini for the by-election.
Mr. Gibson, good man. The man tried to run for Auckland's cricket and he now going up. There was a blockage there. Everywhere this man tried to run, it's like somebody trying to block him. But no matter what they do, this man have to run because why? The people want him there. The lady already got safe from Bimini. She already went to the Prime Minister once when it was Obi time and they run him. Now this time it's Mr. Gibson time and she don't want to go back to the Prime Minister because a shame don't get it. And the PLP just will lose that seat. See, you got to hear the voice of the people. Don't talk foolishness about no former MP who run before us. Leave the door open. Let the people them decide.
Meanwhile, PLP Party Chairman Fred Mitchell has made it clear that there will be no discussions or party action in regards to the by-election until after the funeral on Thursday. He is also reported as stating no former member of parliament like Mr. Gibson will be considered for the nomination. In the meantime, some PLP branch officials have reportedly written letters to support Mr. Gibson's nomination, as opposed to a novice candidate for the PLP. There are also reports that Chief Passport Officer Kinsley Smith Jr. is also vying for the PLP nomination. Meanwhile, the official opposition Free National Movement and Coalition of Independents say they will also contest the vacant seat whenever the date is set for the by-election. Mr. Jones ended the talk show by saying that he would extend an invitation to Mr. Gibson to appear on issues of the day to speak about the by-election and his political aspirations. Police on Grand Bahama are questioning a 44-year-old male of Sunken Treasure Drive in connection with a shooting incident that has left a 6-year-old boy in hospital. According to reports, sometime around 8 p.m. on Tuesday, police were notified of the incident by hospital officials. Preliminary reports indicate that the child was at home when a family member heard a loud bang and discovered the child inside a bedroom with injuries to the abdomen. The child was taken to hospital where he remains in serious but stable condition. Acting on intelligence, police recovered a pistol with a large quantity of ammunition and subsequently took the relative of that child into custody. Investigations continue into that matter. And finally, in this segment, last week we told you about Atlantis Paradise Island Resort's plans to reinstate seaplane landings near Montague Bay in order to service day excursions from the family islands. Atlantis held a consultation meeting with the general public on Tuesday evening at Queens College about that project. At the meeting, the Atlantis project faced stiff opposition from members of the local sailing community and residents who live in neighborhoods along the Eastern Road, resulting in acting port controller Bernie Wright stating that Atlantis will likely have to find a new location for that operation. Vaughn Roberts, Atlantis Senior Vice President of Government Affairs and Special Projects, was also at the meeting and said that the resort considered other areas like Long Wharf, but busy cruise ship activity ruled out that location. He noted that the Montague area was recommended by the Port Department and the Civil Aviation Authority. Meantime, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Chester Cooper, says the country has a great democracy after residents rejected Atlantis' plans to establish a seaplane operation in the Montague Bay area. Minister Cooper says this is the reason why we have public consultations.
And that is so that we get feedback from all of the stakeholders and the people of the Bahamas. So in the wisdom of the framers of the rules and guidelines, we've determined in all of the developments that we undertake that there has to be a public meeting. And we're not all knowing, none of us are. Neither are regulators, and therefore we hear the views of the people. Clearly, there have been some concerns expressed as it relates to the impact on the way of life that we undertake on sailing, on beaching, and really the quality of life of the Bahamian people, and that has to be priority number one in all of our considerations.
The Deputy Prime Minister admitted that the seaplane operation would add value to the tourism market, especially in the family islands, but Atlantis will have to find another location for the project that will have less of an impact on the Bahamian people. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.